100,000 is quite a large number, a larger number, in fact, than I thought I would ever get to. And the fact that I was able to hit it as of very recently is insane. When I started the channel in like 2015, I had no intention of doing any dedicated work for YouTube. Essentially, just my thought was, oh, anytime I find something funny in game, I'll record it and make a short little video out of it, and then never actually bothered uploading. I decided to really focus on actually making content in 2018, most of which were, the typical small YouTuber stuff, live commentaries, weapon reviews, and anything you find on a smaller channel. I uploaded several kid rage videos looking back that I'm not the most proud of, but they did contribute to my channel success quite a bit. I had a lot of success making videos on a random weapon generator that I just happened to stumble upon. I decided to make What If X TF2 videos. I made TF2 times 10 tier lists. I've made hide and seek videos, analysis over Team Fortress 2. I have made a lot of stuff with TF2 in the past 7 years that I've been on the platform, and maybe 3 or 4 that I've made a dedicated effort to make. And while I want to do a retrospective video because I think it's fun to look back on various things that I've made that may be successes or failures or who knows, I want to right now focus on the present, what I am currently proud of or think I need to improve on, and some future goals. I was going to do a past, present, and future thing all in one video, but that would be long, and no one has that time. I will say that overall, with some mental struggle for sure, I am pretty happy with how everything has turned out. The two things that I think I am absolutely killing right now are thumbnails. My thumbnails have kind of been widely recognized within the TF2 community as like their own thing, which, considering some of the thumbnails I've made in the past, I am very happy with how my thumbnails have turned out. The graphic design aspect of making a YouTube video is something that I think I have come a long way on and am generally the strongest at out of everything that I can do. The other thing is ideas. Now, I know not every video idea I have or will ever make will be a winner, but in terms of some of the random shower thought ideas, as I call them, or just random stuff I think of at 3 a.m., I think that the ideas that I've had for videos are probably, and again, this is from what people have told me, this is not my own just like, wow, I think I'm so cool. A lot of people have said that the ideas that I've had for videos are some of the most creative on the in the TF2 side of things right now. I think that the execution of the ideas is still something that I'm improving. I am getting better with it. I am, especially in stuff like the Class Wars tier list. I think my editing is slowly improving. I'm starting to kind of figure out how to edit, essentially. I've never really had to do it. I've kind of always been a minimalist with it, but the ideas themselves have stood up pretty well, and it seems like a lot of people happen to agree because I've been very impressed with the amount of views I've been getting, or I guess to put it in a more human perspective, I've been very impressed with the amount of people who have decided that the video that I make is worth their time to watch. And that's, as a creator, as someone who does make things for a platform in hopes that people will watch it, even ignoring like the metric side, that's been something that I've been super happy about. I've been happy that I've been able to, at the very least, be entertaining to a lot of people. And again, as someone who is technically classified as an entertainer, that is ultimately one of the bigger goals. As far as stuff that I think I could improve on, my script writing is getting better. I think it's like still pretty average, maybe slightly above average at this point, but there is a lot that I think I can and want to improve on that. Editing, as I mentioned, editing is always a struggle. So that is kind of my own personal opinion with where I'm at on a lot of things. If you disagree, if you think like, oh, I'm either overestimating or underestimating where I'm at, then let me know. It's always cool to hear the feedback of various aspects. Again, honest feedback is hard to come by. It's mostly trolls and yes men in today's age of the internet. But if you do have honest feedback, I am willing to hear it. But what I think is more important to me right now than where I'm at is where I want to be and the steps that I want to take to get there. Asking what are your general goals for the future, I think, is kind of a tricky question because that can mean a lot of things. In terms of what I want to make, I'm going to give, so this is probably one of the very few times I will ever do this. Here are the next couple of videos I have planned. I like to keep these a surprise, but as a celebration to kind of where I'm at, I do want to kind of cue people into what I'm working on right now. The next video that I'm probably going to make is every time I die, I have to unbox a crate. I know this has been done before by, I believe, The What Show, but I wanted to make this a documentary-ish style video, more of a serious thing and not just, wow, let's hop into a game and unbox a couple crates. Like, it's more of a, I have to get X many points on a strange cosmetic. However I do that is up to me, but it'll be more of like a challenge type of thing, and I think that was something that I was considering doing as a sub-special for a while. And then after that, in no particular order, there are 3 videos that I've kind of been working on and off. One of them is the sequel to What If Weapons Could Stack Infinitely. I'm not sure if I'm going to finish that one. I was kind of having some trouble writing for that. I ran into a lot of scenarios where it's like, oh, well, this probably wouldn't change much. Okay, moving on. And it's like, that's kind of why I didn't want to include that in the initial video in the first place. I'm trying to, I may or may not do that. That's kind of just something that I have been working on. What I will finish at some point is TF2's worst game mechanics. That's something that I've been spending a lot of time on, probably one of my most edited videos to date, and I wanted to make that the video that tipped me over the 100,000 subscriber mark, but I wasn't even halfway done a week before I was ready, and I was like, there's no way I'm finishing this within a week, so I just transitioned to another project that I was working on. And then the third video that I've been working on, I switch between projects a lot. I kind of get bored of one and just move on to the next one and then repeat that in like a circle, is what if TF2 weapons had no downsides? That was, I was supposed to be done with that already, and then I was like, well, what if I could somehow like code this into a source mod? And I think I'm trying to learn, there's like some weapon modification plugin for source mod that's supposedly pretty easy to use, and if I can figure out how to set up a dedicated server running that plugin and code for it, then that would allow me to give a lot more demonstrations in my videos, which is something that I've wanted to do for a while. I'll probably, if I do figure that out and figure out a streamlined way to do it, I'll probably also go back and make a coding my weird ideas in source mod or that type of thing video where I look at videos where I didn't have a demonstration for, like the recent dual-wielding secondaries, the infinite stacking video, maybe if I really figure it out, the unused ray gun videos, or even some of my weapon ideas, like trying to add those, although that's a lot of stuff to do. There are a lot of weapon stats that, like, don't already exist in the game that I would basically have to complete from scratch. I don't know, but that is my hope. I do want to kind of improve on that and give more demonstrations to the weird ideas that I've been thinking of. I have been very envious of Shonik for being able to like have a working server that he can do all that in and actually knowing how to code. I've even considered like going to Shonik himself and saying, hey, I have no idea what I'm doing. Do you want to collab on running like X, Y, or Z experiment? I don't know, like, the challenging part is I don't know how to make that an enticing offer for him, because right now it's basically just asking him to do a bunch of work for me. But that is something that I'm trying to look into, is how to realize a lot of the wacky ideas that I have. I'll probably do a roll the dice tier list at some point too, which was initially what the Class Wars tier list was supposed to be. And at one point I realized, like, hey, I actually have more Class Wars footage than I do roll the dice footage, so I might as well just make a Class Wars tier list. And I wanted to do a video in the same vein as my graphic design complaint video, where I go through and complain about how inconsistent the kill icons are, although people didn't like the graphic design video one because apparently I'm a nerd. So that's kind of my immediate radar for videos that I want to make. There's a very good chance that I'll like randomly think of another idea, get way more excited about the new idea than the stuff I'm already working on, and then just do that one instead. That's how the 2 secondaries video worked. That's how the terrible TF2 fundraisers video worked. So I do that all the time. Okay, now on to the more general goals. That was about the videos that I'm making specifically. In terms of the number goals, 100,000 subscribers was the goal for me to reach at the end of 2022. I've kind of sped up the process a little bit, so now I have to make a new goal for the end of 22. And the number that I've chosen, the number of subscribers I want to get to by the end of this year, is 131,072. Now, some of you are probably sitting there thinking, like, this dude's freaking stupid. What does that mean? But the reason that I chose that number specifically is because it is 2 to the power of 17. One thing that I've kind of done, I think I've mentioned at some points before, is I secretly keep track of, in addition to the powers of 10 subscriber goals, like, the normal ones, I keep track of the powers of 2 subscriber goals. The reason that I started doing that is because when I decided to start making videos for real, I had 512 subscribers. At the end of 2019, I had 1,024 subscribers, and I only remember that because I forgot to make something for 1,000. So I was like, well, we'll just do 1,024 because that's how many I have. Oh, that's a power too. Cool. At the end of 2020, I had 8,192 subscribers exactly. And at the end of 2021, I had 50,000. But I have been keeping track of all of the powers of 2, so I want to continue the trend. We missed a year, but I'll continue the trend of ending each year right on the milestone of a power of 2, and with 131,072. I think I can make that. I think that that's like, it'll take some doing, especially within August, September, October, November. Yeah, 5 months. It's pretty reasonable, I think, that I could get that. But it will take some effort on my part. That's kind of what I want. Something that's not impossible, but will stretch me just a little bit. I also am aiming for 200,000 by the end of 2023. Now, the reason that might seem a little bit low, especially because it's like, well, that's just the same as I got this year, but extended into next year. I feel like there's a pretty harsh plateau that a lot of TF2 related YouTubers will hit very quickly. I don't know how many active players that play this game are involved in YouTube that much, but I can't imagine it's much more than 200,000. Because of that, I have been aware that, like, while 100,000 is like, that's a crazy goal, I'm probably not going to continue that trend all the way up into like 1 million or something crazy like that unless I change something major on my channel. I don't have any plans of leaving TF2. I think that the game is fun. I've been enjoying it, have a lot of ideas with it, but I do kind of have to consider, like, what is the upper echelon that I can get. Now, yes, I know that creators like Uncle Dane, Lazy Purple, stuff like that, and I guess Soundsmith have more than 200,000 subscribers. But in terms of, like, some of the quote-unquote new wave creators, 200,000 seems to be the area where it really slows down. So to kind of build upon my 2023 goal, I also want to figure out something that I can do in case I, for whatever reason, want to expand beyond the realm of Team Fortress 2. Now, I can't ever really see myself just dropping TF2 entirely, unless I just happen to strike gold by accident, which can happen. I will still probably make TF2 content until my channel dies. But in addition to TF2 content, I do want to look at other options, and even if I don't act on those options, even if I don't decide, like, I actually want to make these videos, I at least want to have a backup in mind, because right now I've just kind of been working with TF2 only and putting all my eggs in one basket. Is it feasible for a TF2 creator to break out of the TF2 sphere? I mean, yeah, I would say that it is, but it's definitely uncommon. The only ones that I can really think of are Soundsmith and RT Game. Really, even people like Soundsmith are still considered TF2 YouTubers who are now doing other things. The only YouTubers that I can think of that did do TF2 and left, like, successfully were RT Game, who most people don't even really consider to be a TF2 YouTuber anymore, and to the greater internet, Germa and Muselk, which I think, like, again, they're still viewed by the TF2 community as TF2 creators, but it's like the people have kind of acknowledged that they moved on. Even people like Soundsmith, I think, are overall still viewed as like, oh yeah, he plays TF2, or he did at least. Like, that's kind of the thought process people have, and I do feel like I want to keep doing YouTube for a long enough time that I can eventually see 1 million subscribers on the horizon. I know I said the exact same thing about 100,000 when I started way back in like 2018. I said, like, you know what? If I could get to even 10,000, I'd be amazed. We'll work on 1,000 for now. And right now it's kind of the same of like, if I could get to even 500,000, I'd be amazed. A million isn't even realistic. But I think that there's a bit of truth to that. Of unless I really improve something, not really improve, but unless I drastically change something to where my channel is not even really recognizable from what it was, the place that I might eventually want to get to is pretty much unobtainable. And that's something that I've kind of had to wrestle with and say, like, well, at what point do I completely abandon my roots? Because right now I don't want to. Right now I want to continue making TF2 content until my channel dies. But maybe my priorities will change. Maybe eventually I'll say, like, you know what? Maybe by some stroke of luck, there is another game. So to kind of sidetrack here, the reason that I've only done TF2 stuff is because personally, I don't find that there are any other games worth playing. I think that the only other game that I ever found that I might be willing to put as much time into as TF2 is Minecraft. But I don't want to be a Minecraft creator is the difference between TF2 and that. TF2 is just such a creatively enabled game, and by that I mean it's so easy for people to make creative content that they want to make rather than being like pigeonholed into one or two meta content types. Where it's like you look at Fortnite, where it's like everyone's doing the same thing, or maybe not Fortnite. What games are popular nowadays? I don't even know. But it's like most popular games that are built for esports or built for being as wacky as physically possible. It's like you see every single creator making the same type of game, and I don't want to have to sell my soul like that. I feel like I would get tired of it and burn out very, very quickly if I went down that route, knowing myself. And Team Fortress 2 is the only game that I've ever played that I have genuinely kept coming back to. Even if a new competitive game, is it Valorant? Is that what people are playing? But like, to take recent examples, Valorant, Fortnite, games that have MMR, essentially, I would get very frustrated at those games very quickly. I don't think that that would even be enjoyable. So unless another game like Team Fortress 2 comes out that has a similar level of creative freedom on YouTube, I think Rust is the only other game that I've even seen that has that kind of potential. And I don't even play Rust. I might get into it soon, but in terms of like games, like it's not even like that popular. It's only slightly bigger than TF2 as far as I'm aware. So that's kind of the scary thought, is like the gaming industry, as it slowly decays, isn't really producing anything that's worth talking about. So unless I decided to go into something like commentary related, which is kind of a danger on its own, I don't know what I would do. I think that's something that I kind of have to think about more. But the goal is for me to kind of wrap this back around. The goal is to come up with something, to come up with a plan B, because making YouTube videos is a lot of fun. I enjoy that, and I think that the thing that I come up with as a backup plan should be hopefully personality related. I've been slacking in the personality department. I think the ideas that I've had have been kind of what's been carrying me, and screw it, we'll throw on the goal of I want to improve my personality, or even if it's good enough, as some people have said, I want to work it into videos more. I feel like I've kind of just been writing stuff more informatively than like funly. What's the word for that? I don't know, but I've not included my personality as much as I could, or really spent as much time writing scripts as I think I can. Really, most of my scripts I only do like maybe a couple revisions to, just because the way that I write is I usually get it pretty right on the first try. But I think if I really went through and improved a lot of stuff, spent several weeks to even a month on some video scripts, I think that I could get something that really would stand out. Just knowing myself and knowing what I can offer versus what I have been offering, I think there is a discrepancy, and that's kind of something, or a gap that I want to bridge. So that's kind of my general hopes and improvements, and then also just improving editing. Obviously, that's something, but improving editing may even equate to I want to hire an editor who knows what they're doing more than me and can work with my stuff pretty well, that I have a close relationship with. I don't know. That's possibilities, but in terms of my own channel, that's kind of where I'm at. Now, as far as my other channels go, I will take this right now to plug my other channels, more so just in case you didn't know, because the type of content I feel like if you watch my main channel, you'll enjoy. First of all is Chuckle Nuts. Most people have heard of Chuckle Nuts. It is basically a mental asylum in the form of a YouTube channel. We do podcasts on there and gameplay stuff. Chuckle Nuts honestly seems promising. A lot of the people who are closely involved with Chuckle Nuts, which at this point are myself, Space Guy Online, Brickiest Brick, Almaxo, Zenith, Cyber Wizard, It's Feckin' Raw, The What Show, and then a couple other friends of ours, all are like very talented. I don't know, just in the span of how we've kind of started Chuckle Nuts, I don't know where we even found like that many talented people. Honest to God, like it just seems like we have a lot of lightning in a bottle that's kind of all stacked on top of each other for people who individually make really good stuff, work really well together. I don't know. It's just a lot of stuff that has gone right, like seemingly well, and bar some major controversy, which from what I know of the people I work with, it doesn't seem likely. I think we have a lot of potential to grow as a group channel and potentially actually become a major name among the TF2 community. So I don't know any like specific goals. We're still kind of trying to find our foothold and work a lot of stuff out. But I think that there is a lot of potential, and to kind of realize that potential as a more general goal is something I hope for with the Chuckle Nuts. And then my goal with my channel Blues Nest is to actually freaking upload, dude. I don't know. I've kind of felt bad because I have like 4 or 5 videos that I probably could make. It's just like when I have a limited amount of time in the week with like school and stuff, and I have to decide, well, let's see, do I want to work on my main channel stuff, which is what actually gives me money to pay rent with, and also gets the most growth and views and everything. Or do I want to work on like Chuckle Nut stuff, which a lot of people are kind of relying on me to work on and like excited for, and there's a lot more hope for? Or do I want to work on my random other channel, which who knows if that will even do well? It's kind of hard to find the motivation with it, and I do want to grow Blues Nest. I think I can. It's just when the partner that I do that with, Steamed Ham, is busy, and it's hard for us to record, and it's hard for me to find time dedicated to work on stuff for Blues Nest. It's been a little bit challenging, but I do have a lot of ideas for it, and my New Year's resolution for 2023 will probably be to start uploading and to get that to like 10,000 subscribers, because I think I can grow that channel if I really put some effort into it. So while I wasn't going to make this into a Q&A video, there are a couple questions that I do remember people asking that I don't think naturally got answered in the rest of the video, so I kind of wanted to address them. The most common question I get is, why a great blue heron? And the answer I'll give for that is, if we get to 200,000 subscribers, I'll give the full story. And yes, I do have a lot of Q&A questions. You know what? I'm even going to put the Q&A like in the comments as like a link. So if you have not answered this, and I sent it out a month ago, so if you've already submitted something on this, and you may well have, then don't do another one. But if you have never heard of this, then go ahead and put something there if you have a question. But there are a lot of questions. I will answer the existing ones in a different video, but there are a couple ones that I want to talk about and give more in-depth or serious answers to here. So anyway, the toughest time in my YouTube career, which was asked a couple times, there have been, I think, a couple. Mainly it's just burnout, or really just self-doubt. Those are the two biggest killers. They're slow and insidious, but they are very effective nonetheless, to anyone who's growing on YouTube. There have been several times where I've been hit with imposter syndrome. Yes, I know, funny among us. But imposter syndrome really is a real thing on YouTube. But it's like you look at your numbers. It's very easy to look at everything else or anyone else around you that's also making videos and compare the things that you're making. And especially, like, kind of as I mentioned, being around a lot of people who are very talented, who are usually even smaller than me, it's like, how are they smaller than me? They're making, like, infinitely better stuff. And it is hard to objectively acknowledge, like, yes, here are things that in the YouTube algorithm I am doing better. Like, I am probably making better thumbnails than a lot of people. And marketing, I guess my video is a lot better. And it's easy to focus on the things that are worse, and that does really rub me the wrong way. I am a perfectionist in a lot of ways, and I do get frustrated when someone is doing something better than me, and that's just not. I don't know. It's hard to kind of deal with, but it's like even though that's not like a specific event, that has been something recurring that I've looked at a lot and has kind of discouraged me from making content altogether. But overall, we push through. I keep I don't know. We can flip that and make it a motivator to improve, and that's kind of how I've dealt with it. I've also been asked several times about major inspirations for my content. I don't think there are any major ones. There are a lot of creators that I take like maybe one or two things from. That probably a lot of you on here have never even heard of, because they're not TF2 or even video game related in any way. But it's like I cannot point to a single YouTube creator who I'm like, you know what, this person, I want to emulate their success. I've just kind of been doing my own thing and taking things that I found to work and ignoring things that I've not. And I guess I don't know if that's a good or bad way to do it. We'll see. But that's kind of been what I've doing. What I've doing. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to combine a lot of questions that ask about, like, do you think TF2 will get updated? If so, like, how do you think that should work? Like, will TF2 ever become popular? And say that I really hope it does. Here's my personal thought, and this might sound a little bit narcissistic at first, but hear me out. I think that the new wave of TF2 YouTubers have a very good chance of making TF2 kind of experience the same resurgence that Minecraft did. Number one, a lot of people are leaving Minecraft for everything that's happening there. First of all, I hate the Minecraft stuff that they're implementing. I don't think that Minecraft should have an overarching moderation system, and it should be server-wide only. I'll get that opinion out there now. If you're one of the people who's like, oh, well, people are just mad because they can't say racial slurs on their realm, you do not understand the implications and the scope of what Minecraft making these changes are doing. And even if these changes themselves aren't terrible, they're setting a very dangerous precedent that, knowing how Microsoft has handled companies, it will inevitably continue. And I think that people who fear for the future of Minecraft are correct to fear for the future of Minecraft. Anyway, back to TF2. I say all that to say that Team Fortress 2, as long as they can manage the bot problem, is in a very good place. If the most serious complaint that people have about the game is whether or not Sniper is overpowered, I think we're in a great position, honestly. People are waking up to the fact, I made this rant a little bit earlier in this video, but people are waking up to the fact that MMR-based games and games that just funnel you into a competitive esports simulator, essentially, aren't fun, and they do become mentally taxing after a while to repeatedly strain yourself going full try hard in some of these games, where in a game like TF2, where winning and losing matters a whole lot less, there are community servers and LAN servers and a lot of stuff like that that you can mess with, that TF2 is kind of a relic of a time that a lot of people are longing for. And the fact that it's free, the fact that it is well balanced, runs pretty well on a lot of machines. Not the most optimized games, but overall a lot easier to run than some of the newer AAA games that are coming out. Has cartoony graphics to draw in perhaps some younger players, for better or worse. TF2 has all of the ingredients required to become a very quickly growing game to experience a resurgence. And I really hope that the newer creators that are popping up on YouTube contribute to that. My hope, another hope, I guess, is that larger creators who used to play the game will play TF2 again just for funsies. One of the biggest reasons that Minecraft resurged is because PewDiePie played it again. What I'm hoping is that there are large creators who used to play TF2 that will play it again for funsies, just hop back into a match. It'll inspire a lot of other people to keep playing. And assuming Valve can keep the bots under control where the game is like actually playable and people don't want to leave immediately, it has a very good chance of coming back. If it does come back, then I am confident that Valve will take notice. If Team Fortress 2 is legitimately one of the biggest money-making games, I think it would be a lot more or a lot easier for them to, at the very least, contract out people to start working on the game. We already know that they've contracted someone to work on the bot problem, considering that that's been under slow but steady maintenance over the last few balance patches, the last few months. But I think that, yes, that we actually could light a fire under Valve's ass to really start working on the game again if it resurges in a similar way. And even if it doesn't, I think that, yeah, it still very well could be something that comes back. So that's kind of my optimistic view on TF2. My pessimistic view, or I guess more realistic view, is that the way that TF2 is, it's not going to be gaining any players, but it's not really going to be losing a lot of them either. I feel like even though the influx of new players isn't the fastest, there aren't a lot of players leaving the game either. I think once people kind of play the game, they tend to play it for a while, because it is a pretty fun game to get into. It's not as mentally decaying as some of the newer competitive games are. A lot of questions that I'm seeing different variations of that I'll combine all have to do with, like, will you ever do a face reveal? Does anyone in real life know about your channel? And these are all related because the reason that I've never done a face reveal or tied my real life person into this channel in any way is, number one, I don't think that I need to. I think that it's a lot more fun having a mascot that you can do random stuff with than just having my real life face, which is boring. But I've gotten the question of, like, oh, what's the subscriber milestone for, like, a face reveal? And where keeping the bird a secret is just kind of like for fun, where it's like I highly doubt anyone would be able to reverse engineer it, even if I told the story. Giving, like, a face reveal and, like, giving my, like, real name and stuff permanently ties my real life identity to this channel. And the only two situations in which I would do that is, number one, if I decided that YouTube was a sustainable enough full-time job where I think that I could write it out to the point where I would be in really good financial shape by the time I quit. Or if I found a type of content that I think would be drastically benefited from me, like, having my face and, like, facial reactions or just whatever. My person in the camera shot, I guess. What that would be, I have no idea, but if that ever comes up, maybe for, like, streaming, or if I ever did do, like, vlogs or something, God forbid, then that would make me consider it. There isn't a subscriber milestone, though, for a face reveal to give my opinion. Speaking of furries, if anyone's wondering if I'm a furry, you get that answer at 300,000 subscribers. That'll make you really want to subscribe. Maybe. Maybe it'll even be 1 million. Who knows? But until then, you get to sit and wonder and make speculations because there's just enough evidence leaning both ways that you'll never know, and it's really funny that way because it keeps you on your toes. Oh, and also, if anyone in real life knows about this channel, I don't think anyone that I know in real life watches my channel, but a couple people do know of it, mostly people that would be suspicious that I'm getting, like, random checks from Google, so that's one thing, and then I think my roommate also, because it's also suspicious when I just don't have to go to work and I sit in my room talking into the computer every day instead of working. So people who would be generally confused about how I support myself are the people who know about it, but I don't think anyone, like, watches it really. And also just, like, seeing people in real life, I feel like meeting someone who's a fan of my channel in real life who actually recognizes me, it's never happened, at least as far as I'm aware. Maybe someone did know and just didn't say anything, but the town that I live in is way too small for that to be a real concern. But I am very socially awkward in real life. Like, it is kind of hard to tell just by hearing someone speak into a camera with no risk of, like, oh, if I mess something up, I can just edit it out. Or even just, like, me live streaming. It's like, what's the risk? I say something weird and you forget about it in 5 seconds? Like, no, I'm way more socially awkward in real life. I do not ever want to be in a situation where I know and have to talk to someone who's a fan of my channel face to face. I'll do it over the internet, no problem, but face to face, it's so awkward. I would die. Another question that I seem to be getting quite a bit is YouTube my job? And I kind of addressed this. The answer is kind of. So not to reveal a ton about my real life situation here, but I kind of decided like, oh, I have like a free summer in between when I have like school. Normally I would get just like some random job so I can pay rent. I decided, you know what? I'll just go full in on YouTube this summer. We'll see how it goes. It's not like full time yet. I probably worked like part time and a half, like maybe like 30 hours ish a week. But I just wanted to see how it would go. I don't know if it's like financially stable. If it is, I would love to do YouTube as a job. It's basically like my dream job, being able to pick my own hours, doing something that I have a lot of personal interest in. I can kind of make whatever I want with nearly infinite freedom, with creativity, I guess. It would be something that I would very much enjoy doing. That's kind of the reason why I've taken up a few sponsorships recently, just because, you know what? I just want to see how they go. The money is whatever. I don't want to make money the focus of my channel, but if me occasionally doing a sponsorship that's not super difficult for people to skip, is what allows me to be able to make videos full time, then I think that that's a worthy trade off. And it's good for the viewers too, because I mean, I have more time to spend actually on YouTube videos. I'm able to, for the trade-off of like, oh, you have to watch an ad at the beginning, maybe a sponsorship. It's like, you know what? If that allows me to put out regular content, spend more time on my content, I think it's a net positive for both me and the people watching my videos. And that's kind of the reasoning that I've used. Some people are strictly anti-sponsorship, and they make Chrome plugins for that. You can look them up yourself. I will not name drop them just in case it is against any kind of terms of service for sponsors I might get. But you can very easily get things that negate ads if you are strictly against them. But overall, that's kind of the place that I'm in. I hope to at some point do YouTube full time. I'm still testing its viability to see if it's something that I could do year round. It does also take a pretty hard mental toll on people, which sounds weird because it's like, oh, it's a dream job. It's like you don't even have to do anything. There are some things that you don't think about, and even if you don't like directly say, yes, I like this, not having hurts. Specifically, human connection. I do talk to people on the internet occasionally, but I do also have to hold myself up in my room and just edit videos fairly regularly. I really, it would not be a stretch to say I don't get out much just because there isn't really much of a reason to. All my work I can do from my computer. I still get together with like real life friends and stuff. It's not like I just like never leave my room, but even that much, even not having the basic connection of coworkers that I see in real life, that does present a fairly existent mental toll on a lot of people that can't really be ignored, that does compound over a long period of time. And that's something that I have to be aware about and see if that's something that I can deal with and learn to manage, or whether that's something that would overall bar me from doing YouTube full time. I know a lot of YouTubers. I was talking to someone recently that said they had a part-time job literally just for fun. Like, they didn't even need the money. They just did it for fun because it got them out of the house, got them doing something productive. And it's like, honestly, it might sound weird for someone who's like never done YouTube, but I totally understand. I probably would do that on my own if I could find something that I enjoyed doing. Thank you guys, though, for 100,000 subscribers. I did not think in any way I would ever make it this far. I still don't even know if I really deserve to be at the 100,000 subscriber mark, but I know that's a silly thought. It's like, if 100,000 people think that my stuff is worth watching, and I know that I'm not using any like underhanded tactics to get people to watch more, like shorts or whatever, then I can say that, sure, it is deserved by the definition of the system. So the support and the opportunity that this has been really cool. And I've always found it to be kind of weird to thank your audience, because it's like, you're providing a service for your audience. They should be thankful. But it's like, the bigger I've gotten, the more I kind of agree that, like, you know, it is cool that the stuff that I'm putting out there that very well could just have no views. No one is required to spend any amount of time watching it. So the fact that people are willing to check your stuff out and are enjoying it. I think it is a very good symbiotic process that I think YouTube has allowed a lot of creators to make. And also, if you've watched all the way through, I'm sure you threw this on in the background with some kind of random audio while you dig a hole in Minecraft, while you strip mine, I don't know, you take a shit even, you could do anything while you're listening to this. But the fact that you have watched this far does mean a lot. That does mean that you care about not only the stuff that I'm making, but me as a person, the process that it's been, and it's really cool to see everyone kind of come together. So I hope I'll be able to build up my community a little bit more in the following 100,000 subscribers that I make. But everything for the future is kind of up in the air. So as for now, all I can say is you guys are great. Hopefully I can continue to entertain you all, and hopefully this channel makes it all the way to the top, baby. All right, I've been rambling for too long, and I will continue to ramble for equally as long when I make a retrospective video in a week, so look out for that. If you have any feedback, let me know. I've said this every time I make a video, but feedback is important. It's cool to hear from the people who are watching my stuff directly, even if it's only one opinion, even if that's your hold up on commenting. You know what? Every opinion matters. I love reading through the comments, especially on this channel, and it's cool to hear everyone's individual takes and differing perspectives on stuff that I could be doing. And yeah, so let me know if you have any advice. Stay cool.